Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome to the Sompo Deep Cut. Today's episode focuses on something simple but game changing. If you can explain why something happens in wine, why a producer chooses a certain method, why a region grows a certain variety, why a training system works, why a vineyard behaves the way it does, you will remember it. And even more importantly, you'll be able to use it in the diploma exam. There's a reason my notes are full of one word questions. Why? Why this grape? Why this training system? Why this soil? Why this outcome? Because it's not enough to know what happens in the vineyard or the winery. To write a compelling answer and to actually recall information under pressure, you need to understand what caused it, what effect it creates, and what impact it has on style, quality, or price. That chain, cause, effect, impact, is how facts become yours. It's how the answers begin to flow. Let's walk through what this sounds like in practice. Why is Cabernet Sauvignon dominant on the left bank in Bordeaux? The cause is warm, free draining gravel soils. The effect is that Cabernet can ripen fully even in cooler years. And the impact is structured, age worthy blends built around Cabernet. But this isn't static. With climate change, the same gravel can now lead to too much ripeness, and the balance shifts again. That's real D3 reasoning, not just reciting the book, but understanding how the logic evolves. Why does Terol Dago in Trentino work so well with Gio training? The cause is that Terol Dago is naturally high yielding. The effect is that Gio helps control vigor and open the canopy. The impact is balanced ripeness, solid structure, and easier mechanization. Why is the pergola still used for Corvina in Valpolicella? The cause is infertile basal buds and the grape's sensitivity to sunburn. The effect is that the pergola lifts the canopy and protects the fruit while still allowing airflow. The impact is even ripening, lower disease pressure, and suitability for Passimento. Corvina isn't stubborn, it just needs the right frame. Why does Verdicchio need low density planting and long cane training? The cause is sterile basal buds. The effect is that only long canes will produce fruit. The impact is viable yields and consistent quality, especially inland where mechanization matters. Why are bush wines the default in Toro? The cause is a continental climate, hot summers, sandy soils, and no irrigation through the growing season. The effect is reduced transpiration, shading of fruit, and natural water conservation. The impact is sustainable dry farming and concentrated structured reds. Why do premium producers in Priorat pick early and manage canopy aggressively? The cause is steep Licorella slopes with intense heat and sun exposure. The effect is that early picking and shade preserving techniques help retain acidity. The impact is wines that show ripe fruit but still hold freshness, the balance that defines modern Priorat. Why do some Bordeaux producers heat their cellars for malolactic fermentation? The cause is that MLF often won't start below 18 degrees Celsius. The effect is that in cold winters, the cellar temperatures need to be raised, especially for wines that are being presented in the spring on primer tasting. The impact is smoother texture, stabilized acidity, and wine ready for blending or bottling. Why are mountain AVAs in Napa often more structured? The cause is higher UV exposure, cooler nights, and thinner air. The effect is smaller berries and thicker skins. The impact is firmer tannins and longer aging potential. And then, why is rockpile AVA the exception? The cause is thermal inversion. rock pile sits above the fog line and gets more sunlight and warmth than the valley floor. The effect is fully ripened tannins and lower acidity than you'd expect for a mountain site. The impact is wines that are powerful and plush, more opulent than elegant. Rockpile breaks the rule because elevation alone doesn't define style, exposure does. Now, here's why all this matters. When you read someone else's notes, you get the facts, but not the reasoning. And in D3, your reasoning is your lifeline when the question twists, or the region isn't in your comfort zone, or the wines don't show the textbook profile. Retention doesn't come from passive reading, it comes from active reasoning. That's why you need to read the textbook, not skim it, not highlight it, not rely on someone else's summary. Because asking why is what imprints the logic into your memory. It's what strengthens your arguments. It's what lets your answers breathe. And here's the other layer: a lot of these chains aren't even D3 specific, they come from D1 and D2. Understanding malolactic fermentation explains heated cellars. Knowing canopy systems explains why Pergola suits Corvina but Gio suits Teroldego. Understanding blending, pricing, and market structures clarifies the logic behind premium tiers. None of these facts stand alone, they are building blocks. So here's what I want you to try. The next time you see a fact in your notes, ask yourself, why is this true? What causes it? What effect does it have? And what does that mean for style, quality, or price? And if you want to take it further, explain it out loud to a study partner, to your dog, or to your own reflection. If you can explain the why, you never need to memorize the what. If you'd like to go deeper into this way of studying, the cause, the effect, and the impact, I've written a companion article on Substack that expands on exactly what we covered today. It's called Retention Through Reasoning, and you'll find the link directly under this episode. It includes the full written breakdowns of every example in case you'd like to build them into your notes. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.